Do you trust them? Good evening and thank you for watching. It is appreciated as always. There's been a lot of talk about the incident that happened in Belfast last night, and I want to talk a bit about this and then talk about the trust issues that many people are feeling with Reform UK. So I do appreciate that you bear with me. It is very much appreciated. If you like the video, consider liking and subscribing. The first thing is the incident that happened in northern Belfast last night in a Republican or Loyalist section of the city was a Sudanese migrant that has been granted indefinite leave to remain, or leave to remain at least, in the United Kingdom. They were granted a 5-year visa in 2023 under the last Conservative government. Robert Jenrick put this out, who did defect to Reform UK. He put this tweet out. Woken up to barbaric footage on a street in Belfast City, of the kind you think you'd never see in this country. For years now, I have urged the police to spell out basic, sober facts as they have them, and especially when they are like horrors like this. Then the community note says that Suella Braverman, Home Secretary, and Robert Jenrick, Immigration Minister, gave this alleged attacker the right to remain and refugee status in 2023. Reform UK needs to explain why their MP and member did this, which is accurate. This is what needs to happen. Reform UK, Suella Braverman and Robert Jenrick need to explain their actions. Why did this happen? They were in the Conservative government at the time. Suella Braverman has come out recently and repeatedly and said this is one of the reasons why she resigned from government, because the Prime Minister Rishi Sunak wouldn't actually let her do anything to get mass migration down and reform the refugee system as well, apparently. And Robert Jenrick's been rather silent on this, but I have for a long time tried to defend and rationalise actions of government ministers to say, oh, they were bound by collective responsibility, they were bound by what the government of the day had decided to do. But here's the thing, individual MPs have immense power. If enough Conservative MPs resign the whip, they could have collapsed the government and forced an early election. If Suella Braverman and Robert Jenrick were principled, they could have collapsed the government or started a chain reaction that collapsed the government. But they didn't do it. They decided to keep their principles at the door and not stand by their principles, and they decided to carry on with a broken system. Many questions need to be answered regarding the alleged attacker in Belfast. We've learned today that he got on a plane in France, went over to the Republic of Ireland, then travelled by bus to Northern Ireland, and for some reason the British government saw fit to give him asylum status and a 5-year visa while they processing the asylum claim. Why is this allowed? Now, when he came from France to the Republic of Ireland, I presume he was on a Sudanese visa and he's gaming the system. What I'd be curious to find out is, was his asylum failed in France? Did he even bother to try to claim asylum in France, or did he think, right, I'm going to jog on from France because I'm not going to get a good deal here, and I'm going to go over to the Republic of Ireland, try my luck there, and then over to batshit bonkers Britain, to coin a phrase. Be very interested to know if he is a Sudanese national. Was he a dual national with France? Did he already have asylum status in France? That was going to be rejected. What's actually happened here? I'm always of the view, and I've made this point in previous videos, the British, as a country, the United Kingdom, should have a policy whereas if you have been refused asylum in any Western liberal democracy, whether that's America, Canada, Australia, France, Italy, Spain, what have you, if it's been refused there I'm gonna assume it's for good reasons, and those reasons are good enough for me. So I'll end that point there. Suella Braverman and Robert Jemmett could have done more to collapse the previous Tory government if they were principled and they wanted to do so. They didn't do that. Suella Braverman, all she did was resign from government. She remained a Tory MP. She retained the Tory whip. So I'm going to leave that one there. This is the trust issue that many people have with Reform UK with taking in disgraced Tory ministers. Then we look at this lady. Her name is Orla Minihane. She's the Safeguarding Minister for Women and Girls in Restore Britain, or potential minister if they ever got in. Why did she leave Reform UK? She has mentioned this on air, but I'm going to mention it on this channel. She left Reform UK specifically because she was trying to get a policy pinned down from Reform UK on what they were going to do regarding the grooming gangs and the uncultured swines that are coming over in the small boats, and actually figuring out what the policy was actually going to be to keep women and children safe in the United Kingdom from the third worlders that are invading our southern border. She didn't get any response, and she was really trying. She was trying to get a sit down with Nigel or Zayden Yusuf to find out what was going on. Mohammed Zayden Yusuf, by the way. And it wasn't forthcoming. Radio silence. Crickets. So after months of trying, she actually defected over to Restore Britain. So again, if she ever got into office, I think she'd be a damn sight better, let's face it, couldn't be much worse, than Jess Phillips. When you start to look at these things, you need to think, where's the substance behind the style? Where's the policy behind the bravado with Reform UK? So that's Orla Minihane. She's also quite prominent in the Pink Ladies, which started after the incidents down in Epping last year and has continued all over the country. Because what happened in Epping last year, Epping Forest, was far from an isolated incident, and it continues to happen. So again, there's a trust issue with policy being developed in the background for Reform UK. Is there actual policy being developed? If so, where is the detail? That's point 2. Point 3, is what happened with Rupert Lowe. What happened with Rupert Lowe, again, was more about he was trying to get Zayed Yusuf and Nigel Farage to actually sit down, come up with policies to keep the grassroots of Reform UK happy, and to stay true to the founding principles and the aspirations of the grassroots. What actually happened? Well, after Rupert Lowe refused to change his speech, saying that he thinks that the family is complicit in covering and maintaining silence around the grooming gangs all over the United Kingdom, he thinks that they should be deported along with the actual perpetrators. Nigel Farage recently mentioned in a press conference that he thought that that was too far. He thought that it would be indecent to deport those people complicit in these atrocious crimes. And so what they did, Zayed Yusuf and Nigel Farage and Lee Anderson conspired, gave false evidence to the police, had Rupert Lowe arrested, questioned, he had his firearms taken off him, and later the charges were dropped because there was lack of evidence. I think at the time as well, Zayed Yusuf was 38 and Rupert Lowe in his late 60s. So any reports the police of a physical altercation between the two, I find hard to believe. Now, if Zayed Yusuf is going to do that to his own MPs, what's he going to do to the British population if he ever became Home Secretary? And that's what you need to ask yourself on this. And there's also a question of dual loyalties of people that are ethnically non-British, like Zayed Yusuf, who's from Sri Lanka, or even the current Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, who describes herself as a proud daughter of Kashmir and Islam informing every part of her life. Call me a skeptic, call me cynical. I don't believe that their full loyalty is for the United Kingdom. Again, that's just my opinion. I'm going to read it from a particular story here that came to my attention recently regarding a Sri Lankan family. Home Office sends letters to children as young as 5 saying they must leave the UK. Those on care worker visas who came legally before the rule change are told to leave even if parents can stay. Then we get into the meat of the story. Here. Children as young as 5 who are living legally in the UK have been told by the Home Office they must leave the country even if their parents have been given permission to leave. The Guardian, yes, very impartial I'm sure Guardian, the Guardian has seen letters sent to 5 children by the Home Office telling them they must leave the UK. A 6th letter was sent to a woman who was 6 months pregnant, lives in the UK with her husband, telling her she must leave with him and return to her country. The children have parents on care worker visa until March 24 and have been allowed to bring their partners over with children to the UK. We're completely shocked receiving these letters, said the Akram Arkitich, a care worker in Perth, Scotland, with her husband who works in a factory. 2 children, aged 8 and 5, are thriving in school. Let's just have it now. Arkitich has a degree in chemistry and a postgraduate qualification in analytical chemistry from the family's home country, Sri Lanka, on MSc from University of Dundee in sustainability and water security. Her husband is a graduate in physical science and double maths, and he and their children are dependents on her care worker visa. The family paid Home Office thousands of pounds for their visa applications, and taxpayers do not and pay taxes and do not claim benefits. All right. What I want to highlight from this story is, first of all, the migrants who are working in a factory and once a care worker, they have graduate and postgraduate degrees. They were not the proper jobs for their skills in the United Kingdom. So why are they here to begin with? Or with that hard up for factory workers and care workers that we have to employ foreign graduates from Sri Lanka to do these jobs? I don't think so. I really don't think so. And more to the point, do we think that if Zahir Yusuf was Home Secretary, that he would have the stomach or the heart to deport people that he shares heritage with? When you look at the Shabana Mahmood, she's reluctant to put any restrictions on Pakistan, and we all know why. She's of Pakistani heritage, and she fears the political fallout from that bloc vote for the Labour Party, and probably ostracised from her own community, what she views as her home community as well. This is the issue I have. It's a question of trust. It's a question of who do you believe is going to get the job done. Now, as always, these are just my thoughts. Your mileage, of course, may vary. If you think I'm being unfair, make me aware. If you think I'm being exceedingly polite, make me aware. All opinions are valid as always. Like and subscribe. Do all of that good gravy, and I'll see you in the next video. I appreciate your time. I hope I give you something to think about.